Greetings everyone. Welcome to the demonstration of TextPro. TextPro is a first of its kind sourcing and procurement intelligence tool for textiles and fashion industry. All the data and information which is required in the due process of sourcing and planning is for the very first time compiled and consolidated on a single platform. The data is compiled in a dashboard format. Being a dashboard, it provides multiple advantage. You can view the data in different tables, charts, diagrams, so different data visualization options are available. There are various inbuilt analysis options which will help you understand the trend and market shares by using the various analysis options. Last but not the least, it's an online application, so it's also very easy to use. You don't have to download or install this anywhere. You can access the system with your user ID and password with any system, any place across the globe. Now, since we cover different types and categories of information, we have covered them under different modules, so to speak, as you can see on your main menu screen. Now we'll go through each modules one by one, wherein we would try to help you with what sort of data we cover and some use cases. So we'll begin with the first one, which is raw material prices. Under the raw material price module, we help you with the price trends regarding fibers, yarns, upstream raw material chemicals, commodities like leather and rubber, which are also very essential for textiles and fashion industry. This kind of data is used to understand how the raw material price trend is there in different markets. Based on that, one can do its cost analysis, plan their procurements accordingly, also negotiate with their vendors and suppliers. We cover the current prices, historical prices, and we also do forecasts for some of these commodities as well. Let's look into the current price section first. So under current price, we help you with the daily price updates regarding all key fibers and yarns as well as upstream raw material chemicals and feedstocks as displayed on the top end bar of the screen. Right from cotton fiber, cotton yarn, blended yarns, crude oil, naphtha, entire value chains for polyester, acrylic, nylon, viscose, polyfill, spandex, wool, flax, leather, rubber, sustainable textiles, luxury fibers, jute, silk, and coir as well. Let's take an example. If we click on the polyester value chain, all the products under the value chain of polyester will be listed by default. One can filter the products from here, which includes yarns, fibers, and feedstock chemicals under the value chain of polyester. We can filter them by counts also, which is subproducts, and regions and markets that we cover. By default, the latest prices will be visible. However, if one wish to see the historical price for a particular month, they can change the date and accordingly see the historical price for a particular month also. By default, the prices will be reported in different currencies and units. So in order to make a comparison among prices from different markets, one can change the currencies and units to any currency, any units by using the converter options from here. By also converting the currencies, one can understand the impact of currency exchange rates on the said commodity price as well. You can download the data, you can chart the data, as all these options will be available in going forward all the modules, which will help downloads and visualization in a very comprehensive and easy manner. Now we have historical prices. So if you want to observe the trend, how the prices have performed over a period of time, this is the section which will help you in that regards. For all the commodities which we have shown in the previous section, right from cotton fibers to coir, over here we cover the historical price. We cover the prices for most of these commodities for last 5 to 6 years. Just for an example, let's take cotton woven yarn, 20x1 carded, China and Pakistan market prices. From here, you can adjust the time period for which you would like to see the price trends. Under that, you can plot the data into different time trend options as well. So whether you would like to see a daily trend or a week on week trend or a month on month trend, you can make your selections accordingly. Let's say we would like to observe a monthly trend. So for selected markets, selected commodities, for selected time period, this will give us the month on month trend. These are the month on month prices, monthly prices. This is the percentage change month on month basis. Even on the historical timelines, one can change the currencies and units to any currency, any unit of preference. You can also save your searches by using the save query options so that you don't need to put down all the details again and again. This kind of save query features is also available in many of these modules so that you can save your searches for your future reference. You can download the data as well as you can chart the data by using the interactive high charts that we provide. Next on this, we have is forecast prices. So for all the commodities that we have seen in the previous sections, for some of them, we currently do a forecast also. We do a very near to mid-term forecast of 9 months, which is updated on every monthly basis. Over here, you can have 3 different views in terms of forecast. So we do a range-bound forecast, wherein we help you with maximum value of forecast, the average value, and minimum value. So the maximum value gives you a prediction for optimistic outlook. The average value is the normal trend which we expect expect to happen going forward, whereas the minimum value gives you the pessimistic outlook. Further to this, we have download reports. So based on the pricing data that I've showed you, our team of analysts prepares various reports. Now all these reports are under the subscription of TextPro. These are handy reports for your daily MIS needs as well as review report systems. One can download these reports by just selecting the date, clicking on the download button, and they can make the downloads for the report. Proceeding to the next module that we have is global export import data. Under this module, we help you with the trade data as well as the analysis for all HSN and HS codes under the categories of fibers, yarns, fabrics, garments, footwear, leather and apparel accessories, as well as home textiles. So the entire value chains are covered right from the raw materials to finished goods for textiles and fashion industry as well as home textile sector as well. Let's look into the trade data first, and then we'll proceed to the analysis part. Normally, this module is referred to understand how the supply chains are evolving, what is the trend in terms of supply chain, where are the markets where there is volume or value growth as far as trade is concerned, what is the average unit rates at which the products are being exported or imported from a particular market. One can also do a category level analysis to understand which are the right product categories to focus on as well as the segments to focus on. And at the same time, they can also do a geographical analysis to understand which are the right geographies for a particular product or a category. Let's take some examples. Under trade data, we provide you 2 search options. Either one can search with product code or keywords, or they can search with product categories. So if somebody is familiar with HSN code systems, they can directly type in the HSN codes and pull out the data, or else they can try using keywords also. So let's say if I try using keyword like shirts, all product HS codes with shirts under their product descriptions will be reflected. You can select HS codes from here and you can see the data. Now, in case if one does not want to go to the nitty-gritties of HS codes or that specific bifurcations, and they would like to have a category level view, how the overall product category is performing, for example, how the overall shirts category or t-shirts or trousers or the entire apparel category, then in that case, product category becomes the right search option. You don't have to manually download all the HS codes and then aggregate them to prepare categories. We have done that for you. In TextPro, you have ready categories that you can readily use. In case if you want to understand the product definitions for product category as well as descriptions for the HS codes that we cover, all of this is covered under the HS code library under the help section. Let's take some examples. So let's say if I take shirts as in product category, let's take this particular HS code 6206. Let's take country as United States and partnering countries as all countries. All trade flows are possible, like import, exports, trade balance, total trade of a country. Let's look into the import for the moment. The trades are reported in terms of value and quantity, using which the system also derives the unit rates. The data is updated on every monthly basis. However, if one wants, they can plot them on other frequencies as well, as they can see from here. So this will give us the imports of US for the selected HSN code from all partnering countries in terms of value, quantity, and unit rates starting from the recent reported months. By default, value and unit rates are in USD. So if one wants to change to other currencies, they can also do that, thereby understanding the impact of currency exchange rates on the supply chain as well. If we wish to see the historical trends, the data for last 10 to 11 years are integrated in the system. So one can make the selections accordingly and see the historical data. The data is downloadable as well as you can save your query. Also, you can chart the data just like other models. Proceeding to the next we have is analysis of the trade data. The first analysis that we provide is analysis by product. So this particular analysis will help you understand which are the right product segments, product categories to focus on. To explain that, I'll walk you through one example. Let's take for an example reporter country as US. Let's understand the trade of US with respect to all partnering countries. All trade flows are possible. Let's try and understand the imports of US. Let's take the time period as the first quarter of this year. Under the analysis, one can see that the entire categories for apparel, footwear, home textiles, and textiles are bifurcated by different segmentations. So just to take an example, let's go through apparel by product type. So this gives us the imports of US for the first quarter of this year for the entire apparel category. The total value of this is mentioned in the title of the chart. You have the breakup of this by product categories along with the value and percentage share. So among all the products, we can see that trousers and shorts are having the highest import shares, which is somewhere around 25.5%. Let's say for the time being, we are interested in shirts as in category. So we'll select this. This gives us the breakup of shirts imports of US by gender type. We can see that men's category is slightly better performing as compared to women's category. Under women's category, men's category shirts, we can see that woven type is the most preferred one. And the woven type of men's shirts, we can see that cotton type is the most preferred one. Now we can start with any of those bifurcations on the first level, and then we can start the breakup. So let's say for an example, we majorly deal in women's wear garments. So in that case, we will start the breakup by gender type at the first level. Now it will give us the breakup of entire apparel imports of US for the first quarter of this year by gender type. We can see that women's wear category is the top performing category by gender. We'll break it down further. So this gives us the breakup of women's wear imports by product type. So and so forth, we can break it down to the next level. So basically, it provides you different bifurcations and segmentations in which you can analyze the trade data, which will help you identify the right gender types, the right fabric types, material types, product types to focus on as far as the trade is concerned. To understand the trend at each of these levels for each of these product types and tiles and categories, we provide you with an option of plotting them into historical time series trend as well. So just to give you an example, under women, under dresses, let's say I want to understand whether the imports for women dresses is increasing or decreasing. I can just click on that, click on the time series option, and this will plot the particular category into last 5 years timeline, year-on-year comparison, so that one can understand which are the categories which are coming up or going down as far as the trend is concerned. Proceeding to the next analysis options that we provide, we have is analysis by geography. So under analysis by geography, one can understand which are the top performing geographies for any product or any categories of their interest. This will help them identify new sourcing markets which are coming up as far as trend is concerned. At the same time, they can identify the markets where the exports are increasing to leverage their product sales. Just to give you one example, let's take category. T-shirts category. United States as a reporter country. Imports of T-shirts. Country-wise breakup, and let's take the timeline as the first quarter of this year. So this gives us the total imports of the entire T-shirts category for US for the first quarter of this year. The total is mentioned in the title of the chart. You have the breakup of this by the partnering country or the exporting countries. Majority of imports are from Nicaragua, followed by Honduras, and so on and so forth. And Nicaragua stands at around 11.4% of the entire T-shirts imports of US for the first quarter of year 2023. Now, for any of those, again, if we wish to see the trend to understand which markets are coming up or going down as far as import shares of US is concerned, for that, we can just click on that. For an example, on Bangladesh, I would like to see the trend. Click on the time series option. And this will give us the year-on-year trend so that we can identify which markets are increasing or going down as far as the trends are concerned. Then in this case, we have tariff line data. This is just similar to the trade data that we cover, but under trade data, we have bifurcations up till HS6 level, whereas if somebody wants to see the data to further details like national tariff line levels or specific tariff line levels of the countries, they can use the tariff line data sections to explore the data. Proceeding to the next module that we have is country profile. Under country profiles, we have profiled more than 50 textiles, clothing, manufacturing, and key hub countries on various parameters. These parameters are clubbed under three major categories. We have cost economic parameters, macroeconomic parameters, and textiles industry parameters. The cost economic parameters are the parameters which will help you understand which the cost dynamics in different key markets. You can compare and take a rational calls, which are the right markets to source from. So these are the parameters which are directly impacting the sourcing cost from a particular market. So we have parameters like how the local currency is performing, the industrial electricity rates in the respective countries, local minimum wage rates in the respective countries, the average water cost in different countries. Then we have macroeconomic indicators or parameters, which helps you understand the economic scenario of the country. Some of these parameters are also indirect indication in terms of the costing in that particular market. So parameters like inflation, CPI, purchasing manager index, retail sales index will give you an indication on the costing part also. And whereas other parameters will give you an understanding of how the economy of the particular market is. And lastly, we have textiles industry overview. So this parameter will help you understand how the textile sector is performing in the respective countries, wherein we have the demand supply scenario for cotton, wherein we include parameters like cotton area harvested, consumption, ending stocks, export imports, loss and production for cotton. Then we have export imports for categories like textiles, clothing, and textiles and clothing combined together as a percentage of GDP, which gives you an indication that how much contribution the particular sector is to the country's overall GDP. So in case if the country's GDP expands, you can understand what share it would gain and how the sector would increase or decrease. Then we have trade balance for the same categories. This will help you understand whether the country is net exporter or importer of that particular category. And then we have the trade openness for categories like clothing, textiles, and textiles and clothing combined together. This again will help you understand how much the trade openness is there in the country for the categories that we have mentioned. This will help you understand whether the sector's trade is contracting or expanding. Let's take some examples. Let's say wages for an example. We'll have an option of comparing 5 countries at a time. Let's select few countries. Let's say Turkey, China, and Bangladesh. So right now we are comparing the minimum monthly wage rates for Turkey, China, and Bangladesh for this year to date and last year to date. These are right now being reported in the local currency, so we can't actually compare them. So in order to make a comparison, let's convert them to global currencies like USD. Now we can actually compare them. We can see which one is the cost effective one. At the same time, we can also understand the impact of currency exchange rates on the wage rates. So in this case, we can see in case of Bangladesh, there is no revisions as compared to the last year. But when we convert them to USD, we can see the wage rates have gone down by 16.5%. This might be due to the depreciation of local currency against the USD. Similarly, if we have to take one more example from the macroeconomic indicators, let's say we take inflation. That's now inflation is a direct correlation with the sourcing cost. In case if the markets where the inflation is going up, there are very likely chances that the sourcing or manufacturing cost will go up in the particular market. So right now we are comparing the inflation criteria for India and China, annual percentage change, monthly data. We can also chart the data to understand how the trend has been. And then we have textiles industry parameters. So just an example, we'll take cotton consumptions for India and China. So this gives us the Indian and China's cotton consumption scenario, how the trend has been. Proceeding to the next module that we have is sustainability. Now, previously it was only the costing aspects which were taken into consideration while planning sourcing, but now the strategic and sourcing managers needs to also consider sustainability as a criteria before finalizing on the markets to source from and the suppliers to work with. So to assist them in that regards, we have now included sustainability module in TextPro, which gives you plethora of information which would be helpful in taking the right sourcing decisions based on sustainability criteria. So firstly, we have sustainable textile prices. Over here, we help you with the prices and price trends for sustainable raw materials like recycle, organic, and BCA certified products that you can now compare with the conventional ones to understand in case if you want to switch to recycled raw materials or sustainable raw materials, what would be the premium cost that you need to pay and how the trend is. Then we have ESG index. So it gives you rankings of various countries on the ESG criteria, ESG index. Lower the rank, the better the performance. We give you the rank for this year as compared to the previous year so that you can also make an understanding that which are the markets which have improved their ranks as compared to the previous year. This will help you identify which are the right markets to source from as far as ESG compliance is concerned. The countries who are performing better are more compliant towards ESG, and by sourcing from those markets, your supply chain becomes more ESG compliant. Then we have energy statistics. So to reduce the carbon footprint, brands need to source from countries which are more carbon neutral and having lesser CO2 emissions. So to understand and to make a decisions like such, one requires information regarding the electricity and energy mix of the countries. So energy statistics will help you with this kind of information, wherein we give you the total electricity installed capacities by source, electricity generation by source for countries, total electricity consumption, the total electricity exports and imports of the countries. Now the export imports will again help you understand whether the country is net exporter or importer of the electricity, which will also give you an indication whether the country is depending or relying on energy needs from outer countries also, which place them at a higher risk of energy price fluctuations. So let's look into some examples. Let's take electricity generation. Let's take for an example India. So this will give us the total electricity generation of India year on year basis, the total generation and the bifurcations by source year on year basis. It also gives you the fastest growing source of energy for India. There are various visualization options that we provide. So you can chart the data accordingly. You have line charts to understand the trend in terms of sources. You have stacked column charts to understand the trend as well as shares, and then pie charts to understand the energy mix. We also provide various filter options in case if you want to change the currencies, units, or the source, you can do that from here. Then we have brand targets. So over here we cover and accumulate all the targets, commitments announced by various brands pertaining to ESG and sustainability. We help you with what the target they have set for themselves, what baseline year they have considered, and the target years that they have kept for themselves. So this gives you a compilation of all the targets, announcements, commitments by various brands regarding ESG, so that you can understand what different brands are planning in terms of sustainability. Proceeding on to the next module that we have is analysis of brands and retailers. Under this, we help you with plethora of information regarding brands and retailers. Firstly, we have financial performance, wherein we are currently covering more than 230 brands' financials on regular basis. This is a module which is referred to by our clients to understand how the industry is performing. By studying the top players in the respective sectors or industry, you can make an understanding of how the sector is performing, how the top line growth is, what is the average margins, what is the cost of goods and sales, operating margins. And by studying them, you can also map your performance with top players and accordingly set targets for your next financial years. One can also do a competitive analysis by studying their competitors from here. So based on the results one would like to look into, they can make the selections accordingly. Let's say we would like to compare the yearly performance. We have an option of comparing 5 companies at a time. So this will give us the performance of Adidas for the recent years as published by them, right from the top line figures like net revenue, cost of goods and sales, to bottom line figures like net income and margin ratios. You can also change the currencies in which the companies are reporting. So in that case, you can also compare multiple companies in case if they have reported their performances in different currencies. On this, we have further breakup. So if a company has reported their performances by operating geographies, we also do that and give you that bifurcation so that you can understand which are the markets which are top performing for them and from where the majority of revenue share is coming. So this gives us the breakup of group revenues of Adidas by geography. Similarly, we have the breakup of their performances by segments as reported by them. Again, this will help you identify the top performing segments for the companies and from where the majority of revenue share is coming. And for any of those category analysis, if you want to also see the historical trend, you want to see how the companies have performed over a period of time, you can refer to the historical analysis, wherein you can make the selections for the company, the category of analysis that you would like to have, the reporting format. You can check from here the years that you would like to look into, and this will give you the entire historical data. Just like other modules, you can change the currencies, save the queries, you can download it also, as well as you can chart the data to understand the trend. Next on this, we have a supply network. Now this is a very unique set of data that we have provided. Over here, we help you with the exact supplier information for more than 100 brands by categories, by countries, along with the best available profiling of suppliers in terms of their contact information and basic hygiene informations like the address and product mapping based on this thorough secondary research. So currently the database stands at more than 1 lakh suppliers across categories and countries. This is a premium set of suppliers who have who have been announced by various brands in terms of their associated suppliers. So one can look into this database to identify the right vendors in different geographies. At the same time, one can also see the sourcing mix of various brands by using this data. Let's look into some examples. Let's say we would like to see the suppliers for this particular company for apparel category. One can filter this down by regions and countries also. Let's take the entire list. So this will give us all the suppliers that the H&M has worked with for apparel category in last 2.5 years. In total, they have worked with around 1,915 factories. The system will give us the location where the supplier is based, the name of supplier, the category which we have already filtered to apparels, and the last column will also give us the name of other companies to which the particular supplier is also supplying other than H&M from the list of the brands that we are tracking. So the system has mapped the common suppliers. For any of those, if we want to have any further information, we can just click on the arrow, which will help us with the best profile information for the particular supplier in terms of address, contact person name, designations, email IDs, product portfolios, and website URL links. The data that we have selected is downloadable, just like other modules. One can also save the query also. On this supplier network, we have two different types of analysis. The first one that we have is by brand. So this will help us understand the sourcing mix of various companies. Let's say for an example, I want to understand the sourcing mix for the selected company for apparel category, that to country wise. So this gives us the breakup of all the suppliers the selected company has in last 2.5 years. They have worked with around 934 factories in total. This gives us a breakup by location. We can see majority of their suppliers for apparel category were based out of Vietnam, so on and so forth, with other countries, their respective share. And then we have analysis by geography. So for particular geography, if we want to see in last 2.5 years how many brands have sourced from that particular geography, we can make that understanding by this analysis. Let's do an example. Let's take Asia Pacific, India, category wise breakup. So in total for India, the system covers a database of around 10,804 suppliers. We have the breakup of this by categories. Let's say apparel category. So this gives us the breakup of this 5,487 apparel manufacturers in India by brands. So in last 2.5 years, among all the companies that we cover, ASOS has worked with highest number of suppliers for apparel in India. They have worked with around 395 suppliers. Proceeding to the next module that we have is tariff rates. The tariff rate section helps you with the entire tariff dynamics, either as an exporting country or as an importing country. So let's look into an example. Let's take importing countries. In terms of HS codes, just like the trade data, we cover all HSN codes under the value chain of textiles and fashion industry. So let's take an example. I'll take importing country as US. So for US, from the selected HS codes, this gives us the import duties for all exporting countries with the actual import duties which are applicable, the MFN tariff rates, the non-tariff barriers in case if they are applicable, the number of trade agreements signed between the exporter-importer country, estimated port landing taxes, and the mean average shipping distance. In the trade agreement section, wherever there is a trade agreement signed between exporter and importer country, if you click on that, it will redirect you to the next module where those trade agreements are explained into details. Next on this, we have is trade agreement module, which gives you all the major free trade agreements which are signed and enforced right now, covered at one single place. You can filter this by member countries of your interest in case if you don't wish to go through the entire list. The actual documents are attached here with. You can download it and go through them. In case if you don't wish to go through those lengthy documents, you can also request for a summary, which is absolutely free of cost, inclusive under TextPro subscription. You can just select the agreement, select the line of business according to which you would like the agreements to be summarized. And once you put down the request from here, within 5 to 7 working days, our team of analysts will work upon that and prepare a summarized document. Further to this, we have a new module that we have added in TextPro, which is market size. So in this case, it helps you with market size estimations for certain product categories. So let's take an example. Let's say I want to see the market sizes for polyester fiber. The market sizes in terms of consumption. One can do the breakup by geography, by country also. So let's say China and India market for an example. So this gives us the polyester fiber consumption market in terms of volume by China and India, the historical trend, the estimations for current years, and forecast for next 5 years. One can chart the data. They can also plot them on other visualization options that we provide. They can download it as well as they can save their query as well. Further to this, we have is government notification. So it gives you all regulatory changes pertaining to textiles and fashion industry from all key countries at one single place. The benefit of having this module is you don't need to track multiple websites and government ministry websites. All of this is compiled at one place. You have filter options to narrow down your searches, and you can download the attachment, textual notifications, which are attached here with for your reference as well. Further to this, we have other modules like news, which will help you stay updated with the current trends. Under this, we cover various subcategories of news. For any of those, you can just click on that category. All the news under that category will be reflected. You can click on the link and you can read the news on the system itself. Same on the lines, we have articles which are written by subject matter experts on current trending topics. You can read them on the system itself. If you find this to be a quality read, you can download them as well for your future reference. And lastly, we have events and exhibition. So it gives you all major events and exhibitions planned for this year as well as coming years, compiled and consolidated at one place. You can use filter options to narrow down your searches as well. And lastly, we also cover the dashboard functionality that we have added now in TextPro. So as we know that there are multiple modules that we cover. So in case if you want to create your own mini dashboard out of all these modules, you can do that by using the dashboard functionality, wherein you can pull out the data from different modules and you can create your own mini visualization dashboard, as you can see from here. So this is a demo dashboard that we have created for cotton. So you can see we have taken cotton prices from raw material prices, cotton trade data from export import data. We have taken electricity cost from country profile and trade data again from the trade data. So we have created a single dashboard which covers all the 4 screens in a single view. These dashboards are downloadable. You can download the component, you can edit it, you can create dashboards, you can share this dashboard with other users also. At the moment, we are giving this dashboard functionality for raw material price, export import data, and country profile module. So that's pretty much about TextPro from our side. Thank you all for your time and patience for the demo. I hope this session has been useful to you. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.